Mm-hmm. And interestingly, that's one of the most salient pieces of advice that Stephen King gives is, it's killing your darlings. It's you may love it, you may think, whoa, that paragraph was exquisite. I'm a mad literary genius. That may need to get cut because it
Yeah.
may not be nearly as good as you think it is.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
no, that's fantastic. So when you sit down to write, like what time of day do you write? Do you have any like little practices or anything like that you do to get in your zone, if you will?
I tried to wake up early in the morning and write a little bit before I got ready for work, and I don't have the blood flow that early in the morning to be that creative. I think I need time in the day to kind of get my mind in a space. And
Mm-hmm.
my phone is full of notes. So I think during the day, that's been my best thing is just jotting stuff down. And then lately, I've just been making it like I put my laptop out in the living room. So if I sit down on the couch, I have to look at it. And then I have a thousand words I have to write almost every day. I try to do it 4 to 5 times a week, 1,000 words, and at a minimum. And if I keep rolling, I keep rolling. Um, and we just don't put on pointless TV anymore. And my wife will sit on the other end of the couch and read a book, and I can sit here with the laptop and just be hammering away. And I just kind of make that kind of my little to do for the day is like I need to get my words. I need to get my words in, even if those words I know is maybe stuff that I'm not going to keep. Um, or maybe it's just notes. Maybe I go
Yeah.
into a couple of chapters and I start jotting down some notes. That's why I love Scrivener so much, and I've told you about that because
Mm-hmm.
you can write notes into chapters that don't count against your word count, but they're still there for reference. So maybe I go in and do some of that, and I do some plotting, and I do some, a little bit of strategy and stuff like that, and I just try to kind of hammer away at a little bit at a time. I think that's my biggest strategy is you have to make time, and it's tough. When you're
Yeah.
not when you're still working full time. A lot of people don't
Mm-hmm.
realize that there's not a whole lot of writers out there that are doing writing full time. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
people are juggling careers and trying to do it. You have to make time to do it, or the words will just never get written.
Yeah. That is so true. That and maybe the public doesn't realize this, but for every one author who can actually make a living off of writing, there's dozens and dozens who are published, but they still have a day job
Mm-hmm.
to make ends meet. You take our friend Jack Stewart. Now granted, he's got a freaking awesome job.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a pilot, but he's still a pilot. Ward Larson is still a pilot. Most authors have day jobs on top
yeah,
of everything else. So that's a great point, and I love the fact that you do it on the sofa, and your wife is on the sofa, and she's reading, you're writing. That's really cool because it does a couple things for you. One, you're still getting quality time together,
mm-hmm.
and it kind of holds you accountable, right? Um, it compels you to make that time. But the fact you can do it with your wife, that's pretty cool. Congratulations, man. That's nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, she's really supportive of it, and she wants me to pursue it. And I've told her that it's probably not going to be one of those blockbuster things that's going to let me retire or anything. But at the same time, it definitely gives me something to do. And I think through some of my battles with anxiety and post service,
Mm-hmm.
issues, I think she's really learned that, you know, reading and writing mean a lot to me. And it's something that kind of keeps me even keel. You know what I mean?
Oh
So,
yeah.
um, I promised her I wouldn't spend a bunch of stupid money on it if it didn't have any kind of, potential, return on investment in the long run. But I think she's very supportive in doing it in the first place, and I think that's probably what holds me accountable the most is knowing that somebody believes in me and thinks I
Yeah.
should try it no matter what the outcome really is.
No, and I think it's also an important lesson for your children. Like,
oh yeah, never
from
stop.
a parent. Exactly. Because I've said these exact words to my sons before. It's like, your odds of success are minimal at best.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to get kicked in the teeth multiple times, and you may never get to the finish line. But you're the one who makes the decision to take yourself out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that. No matter how hard this is, you just keep going. And, you'll get there. Or maybe you won't. But ultimately, you are the one who makes the decision whether to take yourself out of the game. No one else.
Yeah.
So it's a powerful lesson as a parent to your children. So, that's awesome. And you know what, dude? Even if you never do get published fiction-wise, and I know you will. I've seen your stuff. You're going to get there.
No, thanks, man.
It's like you can leave this for your kid.
Oh yeah. Well, in worst case, I self-publish. I sell 100 copies or something on Amazon, and I still have something to give to my kids. Or it's still, my daughter wants to write right now. I downloaded Scrivener onto her iPad and taught her how to use it. And she was, trying to come up with a story. And I said, even if you don't do anything with this for real, the fact that you're doing this instead of playing video games or rotting your brain on TikTok, all good.
How old is your daughter approximately? You don't have to give the actual.
She'll be 16 this September.
That is awesome.
Yeah, she's very creative.
That's so very cool. That is fantastic.
Yeah, she loves an iPad. Like, just I've spent so much money on software for her iPad because she has the Apple Pencil and she draws. She's incredibly talented, artist when it comes to drawing. And then when she wanted to write, I was like, well, here, I'll download the software that I use. And I kind of explained how to use it. And she's like, cool, I think I'll give it a try. And I was like, go for it. And she's been working on something along the way.
That is fantastic.